You are about to enter the story scroll, where every tale unfolds like a secret whispered in the dark. Ready to unravel the mystery? Let's go. In 1828, a teenage boy appeared in Nuremberg, barely able to speak, carrying a note. The note said he had been kept in total isolation his whole life. He couldn't remember much about his past, just that his father had been a count and that his name was Kaspar Hauser. Over the next few months, Kaspar would share more fragments of his strange past. He told his caretakers that he had been raised in a dark cell, without human contact, that he'd never seen the sun, moon, or stars. At first, he could barely walk or talk, but after a while he seemed to remember how and began speaking in full sentences. It was an incredible story. So incredible that some people thought he was a lost prince who'd been hidden away to prevent him from claiming a throne. Others thought he was a fraud. And before the truth could be uncovered, on October 1833, Kaspar was stabbed to death. Who was Kaspar Hauser? Was he a royal missing heir, the victim of a bizarre kidnapping, or the creation of a hoax? In modern times, DNA tests have been done which have only deepened the mystery. Here's what we know. Kaspar Hauser was found wandering around the main square of Nuremberg on December 1828. He was 17 years old, stood around 5'6" and looked like a peasant. He was wearing a smock and a leather belt. Carrying nothing but the note explaining his strange origins, he attracted a lot of attention. He handed the note to a police officer saying, "Can you tell me who I am? I have been so hard at it for so long that my head spins round when I try to think." This is how we know that he knew his name was Kaiser Augustus. It's likely that he also knew more, but repressed it somehow. A doctor who examined him said that he didn't look particularly retarded, but rather like someone who hadn't spoken for a long time. At first, he couldn't read or write, but he soon began reading and writing German with an orthography peculiar to himself. For example, he wrote, "O Father, O most cruel Father," and signed it with a mark resembling a stylized flower blossom. His drawing of a chair showed 4 legs as straight lines diverging from a central point. He was certainly intelligent, but his mind appeared to be underdeveloped in certain areas. For example, he didn't understand what a key was used for, and when he saw a horse for the first time, he thought it was a dog. But he did seem to know what food was, and that was a problem, because many people wanted to feed him, not out of kindness, but to see if they could induce some sort of superhuman growth spurt. Scientists were particularly interested in this because in 1828, it was widely believed that humans could develop additional senses and abilities if deprived of the use of their existing ones. So, poor Kaspar was subjected to a battery of scientific tests. Scientists wanted to see what senses he had developed to compensate for the lack of sight, hearing, or speech. They took him to a pitch-black room and locked him inside for weeks, hoping he'd reveal some special powers. He did not. He was then taken to a zoo to see if he could hear animals by their noises. Again, nothing happened. Some scientists claimed that he did react to their questions, but others said that these were simply involuntary twitches. All we really know is that Kaspar stayed in the zoo all day, every day, for a year and a half, learning nothing new. Eventually, he was allowed to go back into society, but he remained an oddity, and people continued to experiment on him. They shone bright lights in his eyes, made him listen to loud music, and gave him drugs. He was even put on display at fairs and exhibitions. What makes Kaspar's story especially strange is that he lived during the Enlightenment, an era of rapid scientific progress, but he couldn't see the world around him. He was literally blind to the progress of humanity. It seems almost as though his story was a parable for the age, an Enlightenment story written in reverse. Kaspar Hauser died on November 1833, stabbed in the chest with a nail-studded club. It's possible that he was attacked during a robbery, but the circumstances surrounding his death are a little unclear. What is clear is that no one ever solved the mystery of Kaspar Hauser, which continues to fascinate people today. There are thousands of theories about his true identity and origins, but none can be proved. DNA tests have revealed that he probably wasn't related to any European royalty, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a prince. He may have been the son of a minor noble whose family did not want him to inherit their title. Some say that's why he was kept in a barrel, not to make him grow extra limbs or develop superpowers, but to stop him growing up to be a threat to his father's position. Others believe that he was the victim of a bizarre kidnapping or part of some sinister cult. There's even a theory that he was the illegitimate son of Napoleon Bonaparte. But whatever the truth, there is no doubt that Kaspar Hauser's life was truly extraordinary, and that his story remains one of history's strangest puzzles. If the story gripped you, subscribe. The scroll never ends.